Virgo, let me ask you something personal. Have you ever felt like something was just off? Like your life has always carried an invisible tension, a hidden thread you couldn't explain, a subtle feeling that you were walking through someone else's story, or that something long forgotten was following you? You may have felt this since childhood, like you were waiting for something to finally make sense. Like deep inside, there's been a quiet voice whispering, "Something big is coming, and I need to be ready." That voice wasn't your imagination, it was your soul remembering. Because between June 18th and June 21st, a powerful shift is coming for Virgo souls. And this time, it's not symbolic, it's personal. This is the closing of a secret karmic cycle your spirit has been carrying for multiple lifetimes. This is why you've always felt different, why you've doubted yourself even when you were right, why you felt responsible for things no one else noticed, why your pain feels deeper than most, and your dreams harder to explain, because your soul came here with a mission, and now the final key is being placed in your hand. This energy portal between June 18th and M21, it's a cosmic exit door, a hidden gateway designed only for you to step through. You are not broken, you are not late. You are precisely on time. All those moments of overthinking, overgiving, overcaring, they were training, because the universe knew it would take a strong, wise soul to complete what you came here to do. And Virgo, you are that soul. This is the time to listen not with your ears, but with the deep memory in your bones, the knowing behind your thoughts, the feeling you've carried since you were little, that there's something more, something waiting, something sacred, and now that something is here. Comment below. If this already feels familiar, I've felt this my whole life. Like this video. If something in your heart is stirring right now, subscribe for more soul prophecies decoded for your sign. Because this isn't just astrology, this is soul awakening. And Virgo, your time has finally arrived. Virgo, you didn't come here to be ordinary. You came here encoded with something sacred, something few people around you could understand. A soul frequency so specific, so tuned to detail, healing, and truth, that it often made you feel like you were living in the wrong time or wrong body. Let me explain. Every Virgo is born with a divine soul code. It's not just personality, it's a blueprint, like a spiritual GPS, tuned to seek order, meaning, service, and truth in a world that constantly spins in chaos. Your gifts are not random, they are intentional. You're the soul that notices what others ignore. You fix what others break. You sense things long before they happen because your code is built from lifetimes of refinement. But with every light gift comes a shadow lesson, and your shadow is heavy. You've been carrying the invisible weight of ancestral guilt, perfectionism programmed through generations, and silence, deep emotional suppression because no one ever asked you, how do you feel? Even as a child, you may have felt too aware. You saw things that weren't meant for kids to see. You felt things no one else wanted to talk about. You probably journaled or observed rather than rebelled. Not because you were weak, but because your soul was ancient, and it remembered. You remembered the pain of past lifetimes, of failing someone you loved, of not being able to fix what broke, of watching the world fall apart when your warnings were ignored. And so in this lifetime, you came back with a mission, to finish the healing, to end the cycle, to finally become what you always knew you were meant to be. But it hasn't been easy, has it? You may have experienced feeling older than your age, even as a kid, constant pressure to get it right, even when no one expected it from you deep intuition or psychic flashes, only to be told you were just overthinking. You weren't overthinking, you were remembering. You weren't broken, you were awakening. Every challenge you faced was designed to sharpen your gifts. Every heartbreak, delay, or betrayal was a spiritual recalibration, aligning you closer to your mission. Because Virgo, your soul is not here to follow the crowd. You're here to guide it. And your frequency, it's not made for chaos, it's made to bring peace to the broken places of the world. So if you've ever wondered why your path has felt harder, why the burden always seems to land on your shoulders, it's because you were chosen, not for punishment, but for purpose. You are the healer that generations have been praying for, and now your code is activating. Virgo, there's something most people don't know about your soul path, something hidden deep beneath the surface of your life story. You don't move through time like others, you move through soul cycles. And yours moves in 33-year karmic loops. Yes, every 33 years, a cosmic checkpoint opens just for you. It's like the universe hands you a sacred invitation to awaken, to remember, to finally step out of the patterns that have kept your true self locked behind invisible walls. But here's the catch. If you ignore that invitation, if you don't recognize the signs, the loop resets. And the pain, the patterns, the feeling of being stuck, they repeat, not as punishment, but because your soul still has something to complete. But Virgo, this time is different. Between June 18th and June 21st, you are standing at the edge of your final checkpoint. This is not a metaphor. It's a spiritual crossroads, the last major exit ramp before the next 33-year cycle begins. And if you're watching this, it's because your soul is ready to close the loop. Take a breath. Now ask yourself, what happened 11 years ago that still haunts or shapes you? What ended or began 22 years ago that altered your direction? What pattern has repeated in relationships, health, money, or self-worth? These are not random. They are the breadcrumb trails of your karmic loop. This energy window is calling you to reflect, not just to think, but to feel. What part of your story have you outgrown? What version of yourself are you finally ready to release? Because if you've been feeling stuck in deja vu, repeating lessons with different people asking, why is this happening again? Then this is why. You're not cursed. You're not failing. You're in the final chapter of a soul contract, one that began before you were even born. And now the universe is pushing harder than ever before. You may feel emotional swings, intense dreams, or sudden urges to change everything. It's because the soul alarm clock is going off. And Virgo, you're not meant to sleep through it this time. This isn't just an opportunity, it's a portal. If you walk through it with awareness, you can release decades of spiritual tension, ancestral baggage, and false timelines. You can step fully into the mission your soul chose before this life. But if you ignore it, the loop resets, the lessons repeat, and the waiting begins all over again. So ask yourself this one final question. What would your life look like if you finally broke free? Comment below. I'm ready to break the 33-year cycle. Like if this unlocked something inside, subscribe if your soul wants the full truth. Virgo, if you've been feeling strange lately, almost like reality isn't quite solid. You're not imagining it. You're not losing your grip. You're sensing a soul-level shift, the signs that your karmic cycle is ending. When a major spiritual contract is closing, your entire energy field starts to shift. And for Virgo, the signs aren't just emotional. They're deeply existential. You may have already felt some of these, old relationships resurfacing suddenly, people you haven't spoken to in years randomly reaching out, not for closure, but to test your boundaries, to see if you'll repeat the old roles or finally choose yourself. Childhood memories showing up in dreams, moments you haven't thought about in decades suddenly reappearing. A school hallway, your childhood bedroom. These aren't memories. They're codes your soul is retrieving to heal unfinished timelines. Random anxiety or sadness with no cause. A feeling that something is coming, but you can't name it. This is your nervous system recalibrating for a new identity. Time bending. Days feel slower or suddenly speed up. You look at the clock and hours vanish. You feel like you're watching life more than living it. This is what happens when timelines collapse. Because Virgo, your higher self is dismantling every false version of you, everything built out of survival, everything born from guilt, shame, or perfectionism. It's falling away. And here's what no one tells you. Ending a cycle doesn't always feel liberating at first. It can feel like grief. It can feel like confusion, because you're saying goodbye to parts of yourself that helped you survive, even if they never let you thrive. That inner voice saying, be useful or you'll be left, fix everything or it'll all fall apart. Keep quiet or you'll be too much. Those voices are being deactivated. You are stepping into a new identity, one built on truth, not trauma, one rooted in soul alignment, not obligation. So if you've been wondering why you feel off, why your body is more tired, why your dreams are more vivid, it's because your old self is dying, not your personality, your outdated energy contract. You're not meant to live in the old version of your life anymore. And these signs, they're confirmation. You've outgrown the cage. Drop a comment if you felt any of these shifts. I know my soul is changing, like this video, if this helped you feel seen. Subscribe if your spirit is ready to evolve, because Virgo, when a soul like yours prepares to rise, the old world must fall away first. Let it. Virgo, you've always been the strong one, the reliable one, the one who stayed when others left, the one who fixed the chaos no one else wanted to admit was there. But beneath that strength lies the reason why you felt stuck for so long. Your greatest gift has become your greatest trap, and that trap is your loyalty. You've stayed in jobs, relationships, and roles long after your soul begged you to walk away, not because you were weak, but because you were taught that leaving equals failure. You were told that sacrifice equals virtue. You were convinced that if you weren't being useful, you weren't being lovable. But here's the truth, Virgo. You were programmed, not by evil, not by fate, but by an outdated karmic grid designed to keep your light small. And now, that grid is crumbling. Let's name the 3 biggest blocks you must break now if you want to step fully into your soul path. 1. The need to be useful, to be loved. You were raised, maybe subtly, maybe directly, to believe your worth was tied to your productivity, that unless you were helping, fixing, or sacrificing, you weren't valuable. But Virgo, you were born worthy, even when you rest, even when you walk away, even when you say, this doesn't serve my spirit anymore. Matu, carrying other people's pain as your own, you've become the emotional sponge in every room. You pick up other people's tension, sadness, fear, and carry it like it's yours. But it's not your job to suffer, so others don't have to. You are here to guide, not to bleed. And your empathy doesn't mean you must drown in other people's wounds. Let go, or they'll pull you under with them. Overthinking your intuition out of existence. You are highly intuitive. You feel things in your gut, your skin, your dreams, but your mind, the perfectionist, logical, overthinking mind, talks you out of your power. You double-check what you already know. You wait for proof. When your soul already gave you the answer, stop silencing your gifts. Start trusting the ancient knowing within you. These blocks were never you. They were training wheels. But now, it's time to ride free. Because Virgo, this isn't who you are. It's who you were trained to be, by society, by trauma, by ancestors who didn't get the chance to break the cycle themselves. But you're the one who came to end it. To remember who you were before the world told you to be someone else. So if you felt tired, stuck, or confused about your purpose, it's not a lack of potential. It's the presence of old programming. And you're not here to obey it, Count, anymore. You're here to rewrite the code. Comment: I release what blocks my true path, like if you're ready to finally choose yourself. Subscribe if this message lit something inside you, because the door has always been locked from the inside. And now you hold the key. Virgo, you've done the work. You've felt the shifts. You've carried the weight. Now it's time to prepare for the release. Because between June 18th and 24th, a sacred doorway opens just for you. Not for everyone, not for the masses, for you. For the version of you who has been waiting, watching, evolving. And no, this isn't a test. It's an invitation. The universe is asking, are you ready to finally align with the life your soul remembers? Here's your spiritual action plan. Simple steps that activate massive soul shifts when done with intention. Step 1. Cleanse your space. Start with your physical environment. Declutter your room, workspace, or spiritual altar. Burn sage, Palo Santo, or simply open your windows and let in light. When you clear your outer space, your inner space begins to unlock. Energy can't move through stuck places, so clear the path. Step 2. Write a goodbye letter. Take a quiet moment. Write a letter to your past self. The one who doubted, feared, people-pleased, or carried guilt that wasn't hers. Thank her for getting you this far, and then release her, because the next version of you is lighter, wiser, and free. Step 3. Meditate on June 20th. This is the summer solstice, the peak of solar energy and a spiritual amplifier. Sit in silence. Even 10 minutes of conscious breath can open your third eye and recalibrate your path. Visualize yourself walking through a golden door. See the old timeline behind you. See the new one waiting in front of you. Step 4. Speak your activation. Say this aloud, preferably under the sky or in front of a mirror. I return to my soul's original path. I am ready. I am whole. Speak it with conviction. This is more than a mantra, it's a soul command. Step 5. Journal your dreams, visions, and tongues. In these 3 days, your spirit guides, ancestors, and higher self will be speaking. Not always in words, but in images, memories, souls, animals, or synchronicities. Keep a journal nearby. What you write may not make sense now, but it will later. Remember, this is not about being perfect. It's about being present. You don't have to earn your breakthrough, Virgo. You just have to receive it. Let go of the pressure. This is not a performance. It's a homecoming. So as you prepare for June 1821, do it with love. Do it with reverence. And do it for you, the you who has waited lifetimes to walk through this door. Comment: if you're preparing, I step through the Virgo gateway. Like if these steps speak to your soul. Subscribe to anchor into this sacred timing, because when Virgo rises, the world realigns. Virgo, the moment you've been waiting for isn't coming. It's already here. It's always been here, just waiting for you to remember. From the time you were young, you felt it. That pull, that whisper, that knowing that you were meant for more, even if no one ever told you so. And for years, you questioned it. You tried to fit into boxes, you tried to play the roles, you tried to shrink your light to protect others from its intensity, but deep down, you knew. Your soul wasn't like the rest, because your soul came here on a mission that spans lifetimes, a mission that only you could fulfill. And now, the universe is finally aligning with your timeline. You weren't wrong, Virgo. You were right. Just too early for the world around you to understand. But the world has changed, and your time has arrived. This isn't just an ending. It's the completion of a sacred contract, a 33-year karmic cycle your soul has carried, healed, and now is ready to release. So if you've been hearing the inner call louder than ever, if your dreams have become clearer, if your spirit feels on edge, not with fear, but with readiness, That's not anxiety, that's activation. You're being asked to say yes, not to someone else, but to your Alf, to your destiny, to the real story your soul came here to write. This final doorway between June 18th and 21 isn't just symbolic, it's soul engineered. It's the final checkpoint before a new timeline begins. A timeline where you're no longer apologizing for your power, no longer doubting your intuition, no longer shrinking your heart just to be enough. Because Virgo, you were never meant to just exist. You were meant to awaken others by becoming fully, unapologetically you. And the moment to begin is now. Comment. I choose to close the 33-year cycle. Like if this message touched something deep inside you. Subscribe if your soul is waking up and you want more guidance like this. Share this with another Virgo who's ready to walk through the doorway before June 21st, because this is not the end, it's the beginning of the version of you that has been waiting in the wings. The healer, the guide, the master of timing, the breaker of patterns, the bringer of truth. You don't need permission anymore. You don't need to wait for the world to catch up. This is your moment. The door is open. Walk through it. Your real story begins now.